Are you tired of toxic assholes ruining your fantasy football experience? Consider joining us at the Worthless Fantasy Federation. We run multiple different kinds of leagues. We have a 32 team NFL simulation style fantasy league. That's what most of our content is based around. You can see the podcast episodes on the channel here that directly correlate to that league, but we also have a salary cap league where we have custom rules designed around a salary cap simulation. We have a 16-team Dynasty Superflex league. We have multiple best ball leagues. Next year, we'll be introducing another 32-team NFL simulation style league, a 16-team Dynasty IDP league, and another salary cap simulation league using IDP, and much more to come in 2025 and beyond. I pride myself in building this community free of toxicity and the stuff that normally comes along with a fantasy football, free leagues that you find on Reddit or wherever. No toxic assholes here. We're just a group of people trying to have fun. Everybody's welcome. I don't care what walk of life you're from. You're welcome here. And I will do my best to help you have fun in fantasy football again. We are very active. I'm always available to help. If you're new to fantasy football, I have no issue helping you learn and get better. We have free leagues, we have paid leagues, we're expanding all the time and starting new leagues every year. So if you're looking for something different in fantasy football, something less toxic, something a little more serious, or if you're just looking to learn and you want a place to feel accepted and to make friends, consider joining the Worthless Fantasy Federation. Link to our Discord is in the description. Or if you wanted to just reach out and ask some questions, you can, comment here on YouTube. I will answer. You can reach out on Discord. Just join up in the Discord and DM me. I am Worthless Watkins. I really hope you give us a shot. Thanks.
Surprise, DJs. We have a special cast going over one of our other pages here. This is one that me and Watkins kind of did ourselves. I mean, the points are all the same, but kind of came up with some ideas for an auction draft and a salary league. And we just kind of wanted to go over it with everybody because we are planning on doing another one. And it's kind of deep. So we just want to kind of go through how we are keeping track of the contracts, how much everybody's owed, things like that. So you're going to see two different pages. You're going to see my page, which is my team on Sleeper, and then you're going to see Watkins scrolling through on Discord to kind of show where he's keeping track of all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hell yeah, Salary Cap League. Join the waitlist for the upcoming one that includes IDP players. And if there's enough interest, I'll just make another regular Salary Cap League without IDP.
Yeah, so this one is 12 teams, only offense, no defensive players, no defensive teams at all, no kickers. We just wanted to make it kind of bare bones to see how it worked.
Yeah, this is all custom done. These aren't really like salary cap rules you can find in other leagues or anywhere online. Like, we created this system for the WFF salary cap leagues.
Yeah, so the way it works was we just used Sleeper's FAAB, and then we auctioned it off. They have an auction draft. Basically, somebody would throw out a name, and we would start auctioning that player until somebody won. So, for example, I think the very first person was Travis Kelce. But yeah, so I ended up getting him for $60 out of my 500. We went through until everybody had drafted through. It was not gonna lie, lengthy draft. As you can see, as it goes along, all of the players on the bench tend to get only a couple dollars for their contract. So that's where we kind of get the people that we hope hit. Um, Up here is kind of where we know what we're getting, so we're more inclined to spend more cash. Um, I think was it Jamar Chase or was it Jefferson?
Justin
Jefferson ended up going,
Jefferson.
yeah, going the highest at $150 this year. Um, so after that was over, we got everybody drafted in. You could see pretty much how much everybody had left for salary. We can use that to pick up waiver wires and stuff like that through the year. Anybody with a contract over $5, if you drop them throughout the year that you have them, you had had to take a cap hit of half of what their salary was. Was it rounded up?
It's rounded down.
Rounded down. Is it $5 or 10?
It's 5.
5. That's what I thought. So somebody who costs $5 would cost you $2 in salary cap hit throughout the
No,
rest of the year.
it's free to drop anybody $5 and under.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
can drop anybody with a salary of $5 for free. As soon as it's $6, you're paying half
Six,
of their
okay.
salary,
That's
rounded
that's right.
down. So you'd pay
Okay.
$3 in dead cap to drop somebody who costs you 6
Um.
for the length of their contract, which we haven't got there yet. But
Yeah. So after the draft was done, you have everybody's contract for that year. We wanted, since it's a new year, a new start actually to the league, we gave everybody 3 players that they could keep at that salary for 3 years. 3 people they could keep at that salary. No, 4 people they could keep at that salary for
no,
2
it was
years.
3 and 3.
Okay, and then everybody else got 1 year, no matter what. So that adds a little bit to uh, thinking about your future, how you want to kind of build your team, if you want to keep high salary players for longer years. For example, if you look at Discord, Watkins got his entire team pulled up. You can see that Brees Hall, for example, went for a pretty modest amount of $85 and was signed to a 3-year contract. So for the next 3 years, Watkins has him, unless he trades him, for $85 of his $500 salary. Now, at the end of a player's contract, one player can be franchised to stay on your team for that next year at the salary that they were at. After that, though, they have to be dropped. So they only get one time that they can be franchised, and then you cannot extend the contract after that.
I don't
If you
think
do
that
not,
that's correct. I don't know. I was
which
under the
part?
impression that they can be tagged once and extended once, and that's it. It doesn't have to be in a certain order. You can still tag somebody the first year and then extend them after that.
I think we did change it to that.
Yeah, it's just you can tag them once and you can extend them once per player.
Yeah. Ulmer had a lot to help us in making up the rules for this. So props out to him.
Yes, Ulmer did do a lot in the startup for this. He always
So
thinks he's coming off so like disingenuous when he gives criticism or critiques. And I'm like, bro, we're in uncharted territory here. I'll take everything I can get.
right. So at the end of the year, everybody who has 1 year or left on their salary would become a free agent. But at this point, you have an option to extend them. The way that we work out extensions is whatever their salary is, it stays that plus $5 for every year you extend them. So we've got Calvin Austin up there for $2 right now, and his contract expires at the end of this year. If Watkins decides that he likes Calvin Austin, he thinks he's actually going to be a good wide receiver for some reason, with Pickett throwing to him, and he wants to extend him for 3 years. So he would have his $2 base contract, and then add $5 for every year after that. So he'd be $17 a year until the end of that 3 years. It's not 5 and then 5 and then 5. It's 5 plus 5 plus 5, and that's throughout every year of that contract. So it makes you think a little bit harder about who you want to resign and keep. And that adds to free agency as well, because if, for example, Christian Watson, he's $41. The end of his 3-year contract, Watkins, would you really want to extend him another year and pay $46? Would you want to extend him 2 more years and pay $10 and make it $51 for the next 2 years? I don't know. Christian
Depends on
Watson, is
how
he
well
worth
he's
it to you?
doing.
Right. So, then at the bottom, you can see he has available cap space down there and dead cap space. So he has some dead cap space from somebody he's a player or two that he's probably dropped. He actually keeps notes. He's kind of anal about all this. So,
Hey, you gotta know where every dollar is coming from and going.
so actually dropping Cam Akers cost him $17, and Rashad Bateman cost him $15. That expires in 2024, which means they were 1-year contracts. Did you drop both of those?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So I think it just adds a little bit more depth to trading. For example, a team that is contending may have to look at what your salary is for that top quarterback that tanking team has. Like I have Joe Burrow, and he's $81 for the next 2 years. If I don't make the playoffs and I want to try and ship him out and get something for it, that $81 contract is going to sound a little hard for a contending team to swallow, unless he comes back around and is amazing. So
Along
I
with
think
that,
that's
though, and something else that makes trading even more in depth is that we allow, just like in the real NFL, owners to pay portions of a player's contract. Like,
absolutely. I could eat some of that salad.
right. So, and you can see on my page, on that notes section, it shows that I'm getting $42 and $44 from El Casho, as he is paying half of Brees Hall and Amon-Ra St. Brown's contract for the length of their contract because they were so expensive, and I took on their contracts to help him out with cap space and traded picks in return for them.
Yeah.
So it is really in depth keeping track of all these players' contracts and when they get traded and who's paying for what portion of the contracts and why. And this just, I mean, it's created a whole new trade market for some of these players. Like, yeah, using Justin Jefferson as an example was $150, but if you're not winning with him, what are you doing with him? Trading him, like another team's not going to be able to take on $150 in cap space. So maybe you pay a portion of his contract to help facilitate that move.
So yeah, I mean, with that you can see, like, for example, Amon-Ra, his contract's $87, but you're only paying 43 of it.
Yeah.
So that does add to a little bit. I could trade Burrow out. Someone might not take the $81, but maybe I'll get him for $41 of that cap hit, and I may get a better trade out of it. So I really like that aspect. As for the drafting, and you probably want to pull this up because I'm going to fudge the numbers. We have it to where, depending on where you draft a player, that's going to be their starting salary. Just like how in the NFL you have, the top tier players, they have guaranteed contracts. So yeah, the first 5 players drafted have a $15 contract. 6 through 12 are $10. And then in the second round, all second rounders are 7, all third rounders are 5, all fourth rounders are 3. So that's how much you have to pay that player for drafting them. So you do have to think about that if you trade for draft picks, you try and hoard up draft picks. If you have a tight salary and you have draft picks and you don't know what to do, you have to probably drop somebody or start trading those draft picks around. Um, it, it's a neat feature that we added to it as well to kind of make sure that, like, those top picks, uh, that they don't get in there for like $1 or something like that.
Yeah, imagine if next year you drafted Caleb Williams first overall and it was just for $1. You just get Caleb Williams for $1 and he ends up being, the second coming. And then you just get him for his whole career for dirt cheap. I mean, you still will, even if you take him first overall and get him for $15.
Yeah.
First round picks, it says right here, first round picks are a 3-year contract, subsequent rounds are a 2-year contract. So you get Caleb Williams for 3 years at $15. Then you could extend him for 10 more years for 50, and be paying Caleb Williams, $65 for 13 years. That's damn near his whole career. Still works out
Mhm.
pretty well if you can
It
hit
works out.
and if they are good players.
Yeah, it's something that Ulmer helped out with as well. He was very vocal in that to make sure that that kind of worked out well. Let's see here.
While we're on the
Just
subject of drafting, we also do a free agent draft every year. So it's 2 drafts. You get the rookie draft, and the free agent draft actually is a month before the rookie draft, where all available free agents are put into an auction draft where you can essentially we simulate free agency, which happens before the draft and after, but mostly like the big free agent period in the NFL is before the rookie draft. That's when a lot of big moves happen. And it would be the same here. We'll have an auction draft loaded up, and that is free agency. We bids on players the same way that, essentially real NFL teams do. And then when you
pass
pick
better.
those players up every year, you get to sign 2 of them to 3-year contracts and 2 of them to 2-year contracts. So that's, this first year there's a lot of players on 1-year contracts, but after next year, it's going to be a lot more multi-year contracts, especially after extensions after this year.
We wanted to keep it churning. We didn't want something stagnant where somebody could just get somebody on a contract forever, and it not cost them an arm and a leg. And some of those players that are going to be picked up are going to be really good players. And if they are super good, in the top, top 5?
Top 5, yep.
If they're in the top 5 of their designated position, you have to, when you bid on them during free agency, offer them at minimum the average of that position's top 10 players.
Which is
So,
listed
for
right
example,
here in Discord.
looking at quarterbacks, the top 10 average salaries of quarterbacks we have average out to $73. So at the end of the year, if you're bidding on one of the top 5 quarterbacks, say Josh Allen was the 3rd best quarterback and he's a free agent now, you have to at least start off that bid with $73 because he's a good player. He demands that salary.
Yeah, like
Now you could
Josh
have him
Allen
for
isn't going to
3
go
years
play for the Commanders for fucking no money. Like he's gonna
for $10.
demand a large contract in free agency. That's the same way it would happen in the real world. You're not gonna get
Yeah.
a Josh Allen. You're not gonna get a Justin Jefferson for no money. They're gonna demand a certain threshold to be paid.
Yeah, and that's part to keep you eating or keep eating at your salary, so salary isn't non-existent. Because those free agents, or not the free agents, but the rookies will be fairly cheap going forward. We want the more veteran players, the established ones. You know what you're getting, kind of to eat up that salary.
That's exactly how it
Um,
works in the real NFL too. Rookies come in on their rookie contracts for 5 years if you pick up their 5th-year option, but you're getting them for 3 years in fantasy, but in real life it's 4 with a 5th-year option. Like they're cheap. Brock Purdy's playing out of his mind right now for the 49ers on a rookie contract. Like they're lucking out. But if you had Patrick Mahomes, you got to pay the motherfucker. Works the same
yeah.
way here.
To add to that, with the rookies, if you go and kind of throw a dart and you don't know if this person's going to be good, but you got them in like the 3rd round, so you're only paying what was it, $4 for a 3rd rounder, $5, something like that.
4th rounder's $3, I think.
$3.
I don't remember. We were just there. I forgot. Yeah, $3 for a 4th rounder.
$3. No, for a 3rd rounder, like $5 for a 3rd rounder.
Yeah, $5 for a 3rd rounder.
But you don't think that player is going to start. We do have taxis in this league, and the taxi system works a little bit differently. So their contract you're still paying for. You're still paying that $5, but their timer doesn't start until they leave the taxi. So you can keep somebody on there for 3 years, keep paying them $5 a year, and if you gave them a 3-year or a 2-year contract because they're a 3rd rounder, that 2-year clock doesn't start until you take them off taxi. So it's a way to stash some players.
Yeah, I think right now I've got Josh Downs is who I was thinking of. He's not having like an amazing year, but he's doing okay. He's on my taxi squad. I'm only paying him $6. if he finishes this year pretty decently, do I pull him off taxi? I mean, I don't know really what Josh Downs is going to be. I still don't think at the end of this year I'll know what Josh Downs is going to be. Do I just hold him on my taxi squad for another year and pay him $6 and hope that the Colts kind of get it going and Josh Downs ascends to their number one wide receiver and then pull him off a year later so that I can extend him and get kind of that one extra year out of having him? A lot of decisions. And like Will Levis, I've got for $2. How long do I hold Will Levis? Could be 3 years before he materializes.
Yeah, and like I have Mingo. I have him on 11 to 3 year because we didn't do a rookie draft. We just did an overall draft this year. He's on my team for $11 for 3 years, but he's on my taxi. So that 3 year clock won't start until I take him off. If I take him off at right before the end of this year, that'll be his first year. But if I keep him on taxi until next year, his 3 year clock doesn't start until whenever he comes off.
You might be
Um,
the only person with a contracted player on your taxi. And just 2020 question mark?
2020 question mark. There we go. Um, yeah. So uh, I really like the way we came up with this. It was similar to a rotisserie baseball league that I had did that was auction. I took a lot of inspiration from that, and then let Watkins kind of season to taste, and Ulmer as well. Um, more heads, more brains, more better. Uh, but this is something that I really enjoy looking at because it's more complex than just, oh, this player's going to be good. Um, Let me get him. It's more, this player's good, but is he worth this much money when I could have this player who's not quite as good, a little bit less, which won't hurt me or bite me in the butt in the future. Um, yeah, we definitely want to do this again with IDP to really start grinding our brain gears. This one is pretty simple: one quarterback, two running backs, three wide receivers, a tight end, and two flexes. Uh, and really, we had that many offensive players because it's only 12 teams. If
Yeah.
preferably, I mean, I would like to do something closer to 16 teams, so it's
I think my
a little bit,
plan is to do the IDP league with 12 players also, because it's going to be our first one with IDP involved in that. That's going to be a whole other. It's like doubling the amount of players essentially.
yeah, and
This is our first year doing this. We don't really know. Like, I mean, so far this league's working out really well, and I really like it, and I think it's a success. What's it going to look like next year? What's it going to look like the year after that? Remains to be seen. So
I
the,
think
the
there's
plan is for the IDP league to be 12 teams also, but I would like, if there's enough interest, like I said, to just make another salary cap league of just offense and go up to
yeah,
16 teams. So it's way more
and
competitive.
it's also possible we could just do something to where it's similar to doing like an expansion draft in this league.
True.
Like we could add two teams. You can protect so many players. That way they have a list that they can pick off of, um, and do it like in real life. Like a lot of what was the most recent one? Hockey, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of players, like I know, you know, being local, the Blues, they didn't protect someone like Tarasenko because he costs so much. So there is some mind gaming to that. Like Justin Jefferson costing $150. You're only allowed to protect so many players. I like some of these younger players, but I don't think that one of these teams is going to pick up Justin Jefferson for $150 and blow what sixth of their salary, a fifth of their salary on one
Yeah.
player. So, and then they would get like the first two picks in the draft. That would probably be pretty much be like a coin toss, because you can't really favor one or the other. But um, so there's no precedence to it yet, but that doesn't mean we can't figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
So, uh, yeah, this was just going to be a short, quick one, kind of just showing some of the things that we're doing to drum up interest in some of the other leagues that we want to do and that we have. Um, it it is one of the ones that I like a lot because it makes me think more. Um, But yeah, just wanted to give everybody an inside look at what we're planning on doing and what we have.
If you're interested in the IDP, there's still waitlist spots available for the startup. It starts up next season, along with a normal dynasty IDP that will start up next season. Hit me up if you're interested in the waitlist for either of those, or if you're interested in just an offense version, another one of these leagues just with 16 teams. Let me know about that too. I could start a waitlist for that. We could start it next year. Trying to bring in a lot more leagues starting next year. So if you're interested in this salary cap dynamic, just hit me up on Discord.
Yeah, and I think the next one that we'll try and do, well, the only other one that's under the WFF banner is the basketball league. We what we need to do is get URL in on that because that's actually his little baby. So
That's not true. We have a
I'm
dynasty league. You're just not in it.
I'm not in it. That's right. It's not showing on my Discord.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that. Maybe if you invite me into the Dynasty Discord,
There's no Discord.
you're failing.
Why would I need a Discord for a regular dynasty league?
I don't know, just for fun.
If you want to talk, you can talk in the sleeper chat.
I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah. The only reason
But yeah,
this league
so
has a Discord is because I gotta track so much shit.
and you do such a great job at it.
I do.
Appreciate you.
Every Tuesday, if you ever really need to talk to me, anybody in the WFF, I'm available on Tuesdays. It's my admin day. I sit right here and I update spreadsheets. I update the pick'em. I update the salary cap league. I just sit and update spreadsheets for 6 hours on Tuesdays.
That's crazy. I'm glad somebody's doing it.
Yeah,
I'll come up with stuff. I just make you do all the work.
pretty much.
But yeah, that's kind of it. Just wanted to get that out there. Do a little bit more other than just Prime. Uh, give a little bit of love to some of the other leagues. Everybody in this league is actually in Prime as well, so um, it's been a lot of fun. Anything else to add?
I don't think so. Like I said, if you're interested in this style of league, we got the IDP one coming next year. Hit me up to join the waitlist. Or if you're not interested in the IDP version and would like to join another league just like this, just offense, I would be happy to start another one because we want to do a 16 team one. So hit me up.
Right on. With that, we will go out and we will see you guys in about a week. See ya.